Welcome to Standard Chartered Money Insights, a podcast series by Standard Chartered Bank that brings you market views and insights on the go.
Welcome to Cut to the Chase. This is Thursday, the 1st of December, the start of a new month. I'm Daniel Lam, your host for the podcast. Risky assets rallied on the back of Powell's speech overnight at the Brookings Institute. Now, he was not overly dovish, but his previous comments were seen as intentionally hawkish. His speech overnight basically anchored 50 bips as the almost certain hike on the 16th of December and put the 2nd of February pricing into a 50-50 between 25 and 50 bips rather than heavily skewed to 50 bips. So let's zoom into a few key quotes of his. First of all, there is considerable uncertainty about what rate will be sufficient, although there's no doubt that we've made substantial progress. The ultimate level of rates will need to be somewhat higher than thought at the time of the September meeting. Substantial and somewhat were important adjectives to signal that the upside for rates may begin to look to be limited. Second quote, on future rate hikes. It makes sense to moderate the pace of our rate increases as we approach the level of restraint that will be sufficient to bring inflation down. The key words are moderate and approach. On inflation, growth in economic activity has slowed to well below its longer run trend, and this needs to be sustained. Bottlenecks in goods production are easing, and goods price inflation appears to be easing as well. We will likely see housing services inflation begin to fall later next year. The uncertain part remains core services, which are heavily dependent on wage growth. So that means extra focus on the non-farm payroll number this Friday. Now, let's look at the reaction by risky assets. The biggest reaction came in equities, with S&P 500 up 3% and NASDAQ 100 up nearly 5%. S&P 500 is now right in the middle of the gap level that we've been highlighting in the publications, i.e. between 4037 and 4119. So resistance is approaching. But if you look at the reaction from other asset classes, it was more muted. So for example, the DXY index did come off, but it did hold the lows that we've seen over the last 2 weeks, i.e. around the 106 level. And for US 10-year yield, it is holding the 3.6% support for now. So we believe that investors should continue to take this opportunity to rotate their US equities into multi-income assets, as we're likely to see recession in the US next year. And one should look to increase the defensiveness in their portfolio. Also, keep focusing upon Asia ex-Japan equities, which we're overweight on, as we're getting strong policy support in China and more signs of further reopening there. That is all from me for today. As always, if you enjoy this podcast, please don't forget to rate and like it. Thanks for listening, and we wish you a happy day ahead.
Thank you for listening to Standard Chartered Money Insights, a podcast series by Standard Chartered Bank. For more details on the latest market insights, subscribe to Standard Chartered Money Insights.